All right, so we're going to go over tonight about language, communicating with a customer. So many times, and I've seen this on the Notary Network group as far as can you actually communicate, or but yeah, can you notarize for someone that speaks a different language? And this is something that's going to help you understand exactly what the law says versus someone's opinion. So our goal is to always follow the legislation, which is the law that we must follow to not violate and put ourselves in a position of having our commission revoked or suspended. So it's really important that we understand what the law says and how to make sure we're armored with the truth of how to conduct our business. Okay. And so we're going to actually go to the presentation. And then if you have any questions, please do put it in the Q&A portion. Before we get started, let me share my screen so I can actually help those that have never seen this platform before be familiar with how it works. All right. And again, your screen will look different than mine because I have a little bit more of the controls, but it can help you understand how to properly navigate. So when it comes to um, this part here, the view, it helps you identify exactly how to see um, everyone that's on your screen. If you want to have it as an active speaker that includes you, then you'll be able to have yourself and me right now that's talking showing up. If you want to have the active speaker excluding yourself, then it will be just the person who's talking at that time. You have the audience view, which again will show those bubbles at the bottom because that's usually those that are not speaking or on mute. They'll look like they're in a bubble. When you actually are talking or have unmuted yourself, you'll actually be at the top. And it's similar to what Clubhouse looks like. When someone is not talking on the stage, they're in the audience, and you have to um, allow them to come to the stage to start talking. So it's similar to that feature. But to your left, here's your menu. So everyone should see where you can invite someone. You can check your audio and your video settings. You can edit your profile when it comes to your name. And then there's phone commands if you're on your phone. Okay. And everything else is dealing with there's a host, admin, and owner. But these are the ones that you should be able to see on your screen. When it comes to sharing, you have the ability to share if I give you permissions to share something. So that will be up here. You have your microphone if you want to mute yourself. And then you have your camera so I can see you, which I don't see everyone. So I'm hoping that you guys will have the courage to say, okay, let me let Belinda see me since this is the last time we're meeting this year. That's my hope. All right. So then when it comes to speaker, if I want to actually mute the person who's talking, for instance, if they have someone that came in the room with them and they're having a conversation and I may not want to hear that, I can click on this feature here. You have your raised hand. So if you have a question or a comment, please raise your hand so that way we can actually keep a little bit of order in the room. And then the attendees is here. Breakout sessions. When I do trainings, sometimes I do breakout rooms for the students so that they can actually have their own room to do an exercise. So that is very, very user friendly. Then the chat feature will allow you to, of course, write your your county and your city of where you reside. Widgets is another feature that I have access to add different things to the platform. And then if you want to leave, then you have this X. Okay. So this is exactly how a lot of you will be able to see how to navigate this particular platform. It's called Meet I no longer do Zoom. Zoom is a subscription that, after calculating how much I paid over the year, okay, it was definitely more than what I want to do every year. And with Meetin, it was a one-time fee. I For one room, you can actually pay $89, and that's lifetime. So you don't have to worry about a subscription. You just actually get added the features that they are improving upon as they're doing more innovation for this platform. So again, This is something that you can take advantage of at $89. And I will send you the link so that you can actually go straight to AppSumo under my affiliate link if you don't mind supporting me being able to actually share this platform with you. So I will go ahead and get started with our topic for tonight. Let me switch to the actual presentation. And again, we're going over, can you hear me now? Direct communication and North Carolina law. So we want to know exactly what is the law saying. So many notaries think that if a signer brings a translator, they are safe to proceed. Today, we're looking at why North Carolina law says otherwise. Again, I hope you guys are paying attention to this because if you are someone that do understand what all our laws say when it comes to the English language. The notary certificate must be in English. All right. And it doesn't really matter what language your signer speak as long as they can actually communicate with you and you can communicate with them. So when it comes to the personal appearance rule, you can find this on North Carolina General Statutes 10B 316. All right, that's chapter 10B, paragraph 3, number 16, when it comes to the list that you can actually know that notaries and signers must be able to freely see and communicate with one another. The law doesn't say communicate through a third party. It says with each other. If you can't understand the signers, yes or no, without help, you aren't meeting the statutory definition of personal appearance. All right. So I had posted the word of the day, communicate, in our group, and it means to share or exchange information, news, or ideas. So, in the general statutes, again, personal appearance requires that the notary and signer can freely see and communicate with one another. If you can't talk to them directly without a translator, you can't notarize. It's just that simple. Your duty to screen. You can find this General Statutes 10B 20C. The notary shall not notarize if they have compelling doubt about the signer's understanding or free will. How can you gauge someone's willingness if you can't speak to them? Relying on a translator who might have a vested interest in the document prevents you from fulfilling your duty to screen for coercion. So that's why we don't use a translator. I know if you've ever been on any of the notary chats recently, Ozzy Stallworth is the notary director of the enforcement division. He speaks on this that we cannot, in any circumstance. So, if you're an attorney, once again, this law applies to every person. The multilingual notaries role. All right. Notaries must be English literate. Certificates must be in English. Again, that says it states in the General Statutes 10B37 is where you can find it. It's probably going to be very helpful for you to write these statutes down so that way you can know where to refer whenever there's a question pertaining how to handle a situation where someone is speaking a second language. When you are speaking English now, if you are bilingual or multilingual notary, the goal is if you can communicate with them, understand what they're saying, and they can understand you. So, in the case of a person who has the gift of speaking several languages, this is very beneficial to be a notary with this capacity because you can help so many other people that are non English speaking. All right, if you speak their language as well. So, I think that is always a great gift and resource for customers that really do need to be able to communicate with a notary. If you're bilingual, you have a superpower in North Carolina. You can verify understanding a second language, satisfying 10B3, the general statute, while ensuring the official record remains in English, satisfying 10B37. You are the protector of the process. So the summary checklist. Can I speak to them directly? It's simple yes or no. If it's no, you need to refuse moving forward with the notarization. Is the certificate in English? If no, you have the authority to correct it. As a notary public, we have the autonomy to change, to correct and add to our notarial certificate to make sure everything is based on general statutes of what needs to be covered, from the venue to who personally appeared before you, and of course, making sure that you have today's date of when you're notarizing the document, where you're going to sign your name, print your name, as well as adding your commission expiration date, and then finalizing it with your notarial seal. All right. And then I verify their free will when it comes to the willingness to sign this document. If it's no, then stop. You need to go back and just make sure you ask that question. Don't just listen to what they say, pay attention to their body language. Many times you can actually know what's going on with a person a little bit more with their body language and what they words say. So, again, get to a point of understanding how to read people, because that is something that I feel it's not a natural gift for everybody. So it's something that you got to learn. Take time to actually read up on how to do that. This can actually help you be a little bit more sufficient or proficient in your role as a notary public. So, closing thoughts. In North Carolina, the Notarial Act is a conversation, not just a stamp. If you can't have the conversation, you can't use the stamp. Okay, so allow that to be a reminder of how to handle, again, these notarizations for someone that may not have English as their first language. I will encourage you to also connect with notaries that are bilingual speaking, because when you are not able to help them, a customer, you can refer them to a notary that probably can. So, again, this is how we still help the public when we are not able to help them directly. Okay. So I always encourage learning, always be learning. And you can do that with me next year while I go through the Notary Basics Accelerated classes. This is a step for those that just became a notary and they don't have the experience of notarizing documents, as well as notaries that have been well seasoned for 20 plus years, that just have not been doing any notarizations outside their job or work of business. So it's just very helpful for you to actually be introduced to 16 different types of documents that I present in these trainings. And this year coming is going to be different than the last 3 years. We'll be based in Greensboro for 2026. There's a lot of Greensboro notaries in the area that has asked for me to actually become closer. So I'm traveling from Charlotte, all right? And within the last 3 years, I've been here to Charlotte to Raleigh area to actually teach these classes. These are going to be now 2 days, Friday and a Saturday. So you have more than enough time to prepare if you're working a full-time job, to see if you can have maybe that Friday off. So you can actually be present for those 2 full days that's going to benefit you and help you understand how you can really earn additional stream of income as a notary public in your public official position. Having an extreme, or I should say, being able to earn an additional stream of income is not a problem. The problem is if you're not obeying the law. Okay. So it's not a get rich quick type of situation. We are still serving the public. We want to make sure we're doing things honorably, as well as using integrity at all times. And there's so many other things that you can include in your notary journey that I can also share with you that can help you see how you can actually generate several hundreds to thousands of dollars a month. But again, everything's a process. You got to learn starting from the beginning. Okay, so I can help you with a roadmap to success if you actually want to book a one-on-one with me, and I can actually meet you where you are to show you exactly how to do that. These are my websites: ncnotarytraining.education, ncnotarycoachbelinda.com. The notary training, you'll see the entire schedule for 2026 is already up for all trainings that I will be offering for 2026. And then with the coaching, um, thankfully, I actually have the whole half of the year booked with one-on-one coaching. So July through the end of December are now available. So again, they're not lasting too long. So for those that really want to actually understand how to run your business and really again, be in a position that you can see retirement with a smile, as well as another second form of income that you can actually transition from your full-time job when time comes, that you are able to now make flexible time for yourself and your family. So again, I am the person who has helped so many notaries be in a position of doing that. And then ncnotary.org, we have an association just for North Carolina notaries. I know you have heard of the NNA. That's a National Notary Association. So it's for all 50 states. But this one here is right in your back door. Okay. So with the North Carolina Notary Association, we actually have um, conferences once a year. I am the current president of the organization. I'm very, very honored to be in this situation, and that others have asked me to be um, the president. So, again, I take this role very seriously, as well as me being able to extend my knowledge and my experience with all of you. And so, again, it doesn't end there because this is bigger than all of us. And the goal is to be in a position that we can help those that need something to be notarized and doing it first right the first time. So the goal is to always know exactly what your laws are, always be learning, and being the successful notary public that you have the ability to be. All right. And if you happen to see this as a replay on YouTube, which will be aired on YouTube so others can actually see this replay, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and also click the notification button so every time I add videos, you'll be able to get that notification. So we're going to go to you now to actually have a discussion on what communication questions you may have, anything that you ran into. And if anyone is bilingual that's here right now, please let me know because that, again, is a superpower that I really do appreciate and definitely applaud you for being able to do those things. All right, the floor is open, guys. Don't be shy.
Well, I'll speak since nobody else is speaking. I'll just talk about what I ran into. I wish I could share my screen, but I'm on the wrong computer, so I can't even pull it up. But anyway, so I received a phone call um, over the weekend to do a title, which is not a problem. I spoke to the gentleman's son, and the son informed me that he gave me the whole spiel. He said, the title is for my dad. It's in someone else's name who was incarcerated, and it's already been signed. So right there's three red flags to me. It's for your dad, the person is incarcerated, and it's already been signed. So if the cell is no longer there, that means that I have no verification of who he is, or I can't even notarize the document, and it's already been signed. So he went on to say that he'll let his dad call me and I could talk to his dad. So I said, fine, I'll do that. So I asked the dad just to send it to me just in case there was a mistake or something like that was done on there. They made, he didn't put his signature in the right place, or, just in case they just didn't understand what they were doing. So I saw the back of the title, and sure enough, it was signed, but the signature, it was really crazy. The print and the hand signature was really distorted. Um, and it was something that I had never ran into before, but I just wanted to let the gentleman know I wished him well by taking it to the DMV. I informed him that I'm not giving him any legal jargon to say I'm a lawyer or anything, but I told him please take it to the DMV so that he could get assistance with it, because the person that signed it or whomever signed it is incarcerated, and it needs to be looked at. It needs to be taken care of by the DMV. It can't be taken care of by a notary. So I said that to say, we have to be mindful when people make those phone calls. Just by listening to the son, I was able to know that there was three things already wrong. And it wasn't for me to give him any legal notice, but it was just for me to just help him out a little bit by saying go to the DMV. So at this time of the year, a lot of people are going to try to do a lot of different things to gain access to a lot of different things, whether it's a car, whether it's bank information or titles for property or anything, which we just saw that a few weeks ago when Belinda introduced it to us. So we just have to be mindful as notaries and be aware of what we're looking at, what we're signing, what we're using our stamps for, and just listen to the language. Like she said, communication is really, all about communication. So just listen to what is being said to you by someone. You'll just know. So this way you won't put yourself out there. You're able to have a barrier between you and a person, and it's safety first for us when we start to go out. It's safety first for us when we start to notarize. It's safety first when we use our stamp and our signature. It's safety first. So the communication form, it did fall under communication. I was wrong. It's all about communication. It really is.
Thank you, Monica. With that, I know that there are other ways of, again, communicating with others. Body language, again, I shared, is a form of communication. People who actually do American Sign Language. Once again, if you have that skill, you can communicate with those that actually are able to communicate through sign language. So if you have that ability to communicate, that is a superpower. I know a notary that has both skills. When I met this young lady about 2 years ago, and no, it was about 3 years ago now. And she was bilingual as well as able to do sign language. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. And to know that she really have done really well in her community to help those that rely on sign to actually communicate. So that is something that a lot of you can actually take up as a particular class to learn, just like a language, when it comes to speech that you can actually learn. So that's something that you choose to do. That is great because, again, there's a lot of people who are relying on sign that could benefit from a notary that understands sign language with them. So, again, let's not limit yourself because I'm telling you, with this position that we hold, things are almost unlimited to us. Of course, we do have that provision. We can never have unauthorized practice of law because of what that is, right? So we can't give advice and we cannot give opinions when we're a notary assisting a customer. So we have to remember exactly what we can do and what we can't do. But when it comes to the ability to learn other things to help us further in this position, is again a very unique quality that I would actually encourage everyone to take advantage of. Yes, Candace.
I just wanted to tag on to the unauthorized practice of law bit. I'm a paralegal for a very large law firm. And if it seems questionable, the best practice is to just play dumb. Even if you think you know the answer but it's on that borderline, it's better to play dumb. And I found that to be the right guideline over the past 20 some years. So
All right. So it's playing it safe so you don't put yourself in a position because people want to ask questions. You're the one that's there, right? And they look at you as an authority figure as well. So many times, even if you are in a profession that you actually know the answer, you have to refrain from moving forward with answering it because, again, that would be considered an unauthorized practice of law. So it's best for you to direct them to the agency organization that the document goes to for any questions they may have. So you will not put yourself in jeopardy of overstepping that boundary. Okay, so it's better safe than sorry. We want to help people. We don't want to hurt ourselves by doing so. So always remember those things. Thank you for that, Candace.
They will always, well, what would you do if you were in this situation? Finagle those questions like you wouldn't believe.
and say, and this is what I would do because I'm not you, so I don't know. You cannot be somebody else. So it's a simple answer. I am not you. I don't know how I would actually handle that. So I hope you figure it out. Oh goodness, but yeah, they will definitely test us, and it's not them testing us to actually see if we're going to do something wrong. They really want us to help them further than what we can really do legally, and that's usually what happens. So thank you for that. So again, there was another question I've seen, or I said I've heard, where someone wants to know exactly how to properly, um, I guess I would say, charge for notarization. The way to actually properly charge for notarizing a document, again, the law says $10 per principal signer. Well, you become a principal signer, or a person becomes a principal signer when you're having to properly identify them. So anyone that you actually have to look at their ID, look at them to actually confirm they are who they say they are, making sure you pay attention to the signature of the ID and to what they're signing to actually, again, cross reference to what look like their signature. You want to make sure that you understand that whoever you are, again, notarizing the document for, you can actually summarize this by who personally appeared before me when you're actually filling out the notarial certificate. So if it's one person that you are notarizing for, then it's $10 per notarial certificate that you're actually notarizing, or better yet, you're actually witnessing their signature. If it's two, three people, then it's three times $10. So this is how you can properly make sure you are not overcharging them, and you're staying within exactly what the statute says we can do when it comes to charging them properly. You don't want to undercharge so where you're actually doing the work and you're not getting paid for it either. So it's very important for you to understand anytime you see a signature and your notarial certificate is immediately after that, that is what you're notarizing. It's a signature that is witnessed in before you. Okay. And that's how you can properly charge. Candace, you had another question or comment?
Yes, a question. I know we
Okay.
can charge the 70 cents a mile for travel
Hmm.
expenses. Can we charge like an hourly fee for travel? Oh, really?
Note
Hmm.
statute specifically says only per signature that we're notarizing and up to the 70 cents per mile right now. That is the extension of additional fees. And of course, that has to be a in writing. It has to be an agreed upon amount before you actually travel to that customer. So that needs to be communicated and clear before we actually leave to meet with them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And with that being said, I encourage you to collect your money for the fee, the travel fee. You cannot collect it for notarization before it's actually done. So the only thing that we can legally charge is for the fee up front. So have some type of way of securing payment by Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Square, or any other merchant account that you can actually receive digital currency when it comes to a debit or credit card, all right, or peer to peer payment. So those are things that I would encourage you to do because what can happen is you go to the customer and attempt to notarize the documents. What if their ID is actually expired and you have no recourse but to say, no, I can't notarize this because I need a valid ID? Or there's a problem with the paperwork that you see that you can't notarize it because it's not, again, with the right notarization or certificate for you to do so. So there can be a lot of different things that can happen where you can't move forward with the notarization. But the customer may be so upset where they don't want to pay you at all. And so you are due your fee for travel. But if you have not taken it before you got there, or when you first get there and collect that amount, then you may actually have lost that battle. Okay. So those are the things that I would encourage you to make sure you start actually um, asking for upfront so you don't have any mishaps that has happened to quite a few notaries in the past. And I want to make sure you're protected. So we're going to go to Renee, Linda, and then Alyssa. All right. Renee, you're on mute, sweetie.
Hey, Belinda.
Hi. Oh my goodness, you are frozen now.
Oh,
Okay, now
uh,
I can hear you.
okay. Because sometimes, this meeting kind of freezes you and we can't hear, or your voice gets distorted. So sometimes we miss some of the things that you say, just an FYI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to ask you though, when you say do it in writing, when you're talking about the mileage fee, so
Mm-hmm.
is a text good enough? Because normally we're talking to them on the phone and we're telling them what it is. So would it be a good idea to say, well, you live 11 miles away from me, that's 22 miles that I'd be traveling times 70 cents, that's what your fee is. Um, so we'd have to probably text it to them if it's going to be in writing, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. So these are the forms of in writing, text messages or an email. I do mine in email and text because I like to be able to make sure when I'm using my Google Calendar, first, my Google Calendar can actually be able to identify my mileage because it's tracking me when I use my maps. So when I travel to and from, it's actually recorded when it comes to how my Google account is set up. So it can help make sure that you're staying honest and everything is recorded so you can actually have that record to refer back to if ever there's any questions.
Right. Otherwise, with the text, I guess you can't really keep that and go back to it and refer back to it then.
If you understand how to do screenshot of your text and then email it to yourself, that would be a way of you recording
Okay. Thank you very much.
it. You're welcome. So yeah, that's a good way of just keeping up with how things should be recorded. And Alyssa,
So I guess I should get the payment before doing the job, correct? Is that what you're saying?
you get the payment for the mileage first up front
Payment for the mileage up front. Okay.
only. Yes,
Okay.
you can only get paid for notarizing once you have notarized the document. You cannot get
Oh.
paid based on statute. Yes.
Oh, okay. So payment for the mileage. Okay. So I guess and I heard you. I thought you meant the whole payment because I was going to say, well, what if we can't sign it? Then they want their money back. But you just said mileage, so I'll write that down. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Angela,
Hello there. Good evening.
good
Um,
evening.
Wanted to add, I think that was really good that you talked about communication because um, it's very important, the verbal stuff and the nonverbal, that we use that to our advantage. That communication in general can be a superpower, right? So you and I talk about that a whole lot, but I just wanted to stress how important that is, not just in notarizations, but just in how you do life. Use how you handle life and reading people and kind of seeing where they're coming from, hearing the unspoken words in your notary work as well. It'll serve you. It'll serve you well. So the other thing I wanted to say really quick, I just wanted to say, Belinda, again, thank you. I just completed my 10 weeks of notary coaching with you. I told Belinda I was having such a good time learning so much that I was not going to show up for the last session, so we could not call a quit to it. You can't hear me?
No, because
Yep.
you frozen and it's distorted.
No, I can hear her.
I
I can hear
couldn't
you.
hear anything.
So it could be your computer because I was able to hear everything.
Gotcha. So I basically just said I finished my 10 weeks of coaching, and I appreciated Belinda that I was going to go ahead and say um, thank you to that again. But I also wanted to tell you, Belinda, and show you guys this. So she was talking about the North Carolina Notary Association that she's the president of. So back on, what was it? November 7th was Notary Public Day, and we
Hmm.
all got together and we had a great time online for about 2 hours, and then we played some games with Kahoot, which is quiz, trivia information, and I won. I think it was the last session that we had of the game, right? So I just
Hmm.
went outside before I came online here, and there was a package on my steps, and I thought, what is that? I'm not expecting anything, so I want to show you what I got. Let's see, how does this work here?
Okay,
So
the Notary Public bag.
yeah. So I won the notary toolkit, and this
Yes.
is cool. I really love this. So thank you.
You earned it. You showed up and you played and you earned that. So congratulations to you.
Notary Association. Thank y'all.
Yeah, we're all about advocating and supporting our notaries across the state. So our theme is educate, advocate, and promote, because the goal is to make sure you have a support group for you as a notary public. Almost every position I feel that's out there have something, right? So the association was founded in 1999 by the first president, Judy Chapman, who is a wonderful notary. She was a former notary public instructor. So just like all of us went through the class to actually become commissioned, she taught the class. And she also owns Notary Store Plus More. So if you want to get the right type of tools for your supplies as a notary, I would encourage you to go to that store. It's called, again, a Notary Store Plus More.com. And again, she is a beautiful spirit, and she truly have helped me to be in a position that I'm in today. So again, I owe her a lot when it comes to my gratitude and appreciation. And again, I'm honored by all of you that actually show up every time you get an opportunity to be a part of something that I have created, that I am doing, because again, it's for us. All right. And I'm really, my heart is here to help you all as notaries to grow, to thrive, to be successful, because it's a needed position. It's not one of those things that is wanted, okay, like a vacuum cleaner, because you have a broom, you can sweep, right? But it makes it easier if you have a vacuum. But the goal is for you to know that you have a space where you are definitely wanted and needed, so that again, if you have the tools and you understand how to use them, you can do anything. And so that is my goal, is to make sure that again, you're always learning. That's why I create different training programs for us that is affordable, as well as offering afterpay for payment plans, because again, as a notary, we need to be able to be on a budget, understand how to actually navigate in this space, and never be in a position that we're robbing Peter to pay Paul for any training courses. That's crazy. So the goal is for you to make sure you're in the right space. North Carolina Commission, that's all I focus on. Okay. So the goal is to make sure you are able to have a resource that is going to look out for your best interests. Um, Again, I couldn't do this without you guys. This has been 5 years when it comes to the program. And to know that I have been able to help with mentoring and training since 2016, it has been a true blessing. So, again, I can't say enough about our notaries in North Carolina. We are the bomb.com. And again, you owe it to yourself for seeing that there was an opportunity that you can actually fulfill in the position that you're in to help others. So you all owe yourselves an applause, because that is definitely honorable. Okay. So I know that we're coming to an end for the year. We will not have a TNT next Tuesday. Why? Because I will be taking a vacation. This is something I rarely do, and not bring work with me. So for the first time ever, I will not be doing any work. Okay. I'm leaving on Friday after Christmas, and then I'll be coming back New Year's Eve. So that time frame, rely on your notary buddies that's right here, and those that's on our group, when it comes to any questions that you might need to be answered, because you all have the ability to help each other. You all have the Notary Public Manual that I tell you all the time, refer to, because it is exactly the resource that you need to get started, to look for things that can help you answer a question. And then you go to the North Carolina legislation website, and you can go through all of the general statutes for notaries. It's ncleg.gov. All right. So that will help you be in a position that you're going to get the right information for North Carolina. Any other questions or comments? We have 15 more minutes, guys. We're doing pretty good. All right. Let's see. We have Miss Linda. Yes.
Thank you for everything, Miss Belinda. I really appreciate you. I really haven't had time due to work to get up here, but I really do enjoy listening to you from your education point. But I did recently came across one of my notary students. I recently had she had to take my class because she was suspended due to she worked for the Register of Deeds and she notarized a document from out of state. And inside the document itself, it said that the notary explained the document somewhere inside the document, but we are told, or taught, we don't have to know the content of the document or anything like that. So when they reached out to the Secretary of State, they was informed, oh yeah, you don't supposed to know the content, but you can peruse it to make sure nothing else is in there. So she was suspended by notarizing the document based on the law they read in the book in the manual in regards to the content of the document. But like I said, this was an out of state document. This document was from it was something that an attorney drafted, and the person was traveling and you went back to another state to visit family. So he needed that document notarized. So it was something drafted from a law firm. And I was thinking, why didn't he just go back to the law firm? Because I'm pretty sure when it said notary explain, it probably meant the attorney, because um they are the one that drafted it. They're the one that can explain it. But by her notarizing it, saying that she explained it by her being a notary. So it was kind of like this, like they had like three, they came like it came like around for like 3 different times. But by her experience, so they was like, no, they cannot notarize because inside the document it said that a notary explained it. So now, what is your point of view of a notary as a notary reading the document, or just perusing and trying to see where if there's a notary explain anything like that?
That's unfortunate that that happened, to the
Yes, it
notary,
is. Yeah. Mhm.
especially with it not being a warning, because just like you said, and it's in statute that we don't have to know what the content is of the document that we're notarizing. However, for me, a rule of thumb is to always preview it so you can actually what you might need to know to document, how to pay attention to certain things on the document itself. So that to me is very important for you to actually have
Breaking up.
some understanding. But if you notice that, you can tell them, I cannot move forward with this because of the wording. Who actually created this document, and then you can encourage them to have that particular person to actually um, re actually rewrite it so that the part of the notary is not there. But again, if she did not see that, even though she might have looked through it to make sure there's no blanks, that's one of the rules that we follow, is to make sure there's no blanks that need to be completed. That to me should have been probably disputed with the Secretary of State to let them know, well, you said this and this is what I followed in statute. So again, they shouldn't have deemed her in that regard for her to be suspended. It should have been, excuse me, a verbal warning as far as, well, this is what it says, and yes, I do understand, but they should have been a little bit more, um, willing to work with her without her being suspended. So I don't agree with that at all. And again, I'm glad she has the ability to get her her commission back, but it's just one of those things. I guess they had to make a point that there's certain things they're not going to deal with. But again, that to me, we all can have our opinions on how that should have went. And so mine, I would have definitely with the Department of Social Service State to actually hopefully listen and be able to be willing to work with me more. But again, we know now to look over some things just to make sure we're covering ourselves when we're actually assisting someone to the best that we possibly can.
Yeah,
Hope that
because
answers your question.
especially with out of state documents, sometimes because that document came from Pennsylvania,
Mm.
so it was an out of
And so
state
they have
document.
different
'Cause
laws.
I never seen it inside a North Carolina document or anything like
Okay.
that. So yeah, it was like it's like coming from out of state that wanted
Okay.
notarized. Yes. So be careful with out of state documents and stuff because those can be tricky.
I agree. Thank you for adding that, Linda. Tina, you have a question or comment?
It's a it's a comment, and I think I
Okay.
said it last week. As far as us notaries making sure we are only charging the mileage that we're allowed to. There is someone, and they're inside of our group, who is going around baiting notaries and reporting them to the Secretary of State, which I don't think is right. You know, however, we do need to be honest in all of our dealings, because you just never know who is out there doing something like that that wants to report you to the Secretary of State. And I know a couple of people that are having issues right now. I think I mentioned the one last week, but with the Secretary of State, them questioning their fees and stuff like that. So us confident notaries, we got to be making sure we're doing things honestly at all times.
Yeah, I'm familiar with at least one person. They have communicated with me more than once, and what I've had encouraged them to do, if they really feel that a notary is doing something that is wrong, address them, reach out to them. That is just, again, part of what I believe in. If someone is doing something that is not right, give them the opportunity to actually show that they didn't do it purposely. It was something that might have been a mistake. But if their attitude is mind your business, this don't have nothing to do with you, and their attitude is to a point of being defensive and argumentative, then I'm not going to argue. I will report them myself. However, I gave them the opportunity to understand they need to correct this without it being a situation, especially when I come across content that shows that they are given deceptive practices. As a public official, we have the actual responsibility to report another notary that's doing things out of compliance. That is part of the rule, right? And so when it comes to just being honest, again, I just feel that everybody needs to have benefit of doubt by you having a conversation with them. Some of you may not feel comfortable with actually talking to another notary, asking them about, are you aware that you're putting something out on your site that is not actually law? And then go and tell them exactly where the general statutes say that they're doing something wrong. Always try to make sure you have your facts, so that way when you actually do bring something to someone's attention, you have the support of the general statute to actually go to, and not it be your opinion. So some people think that's what it is. You're just trying to come for them because you don't want to see them be successful, and that's not the case in most situations. If you're coming to them, you're really trying to make sure they understand. You're trying to protect them. If they don't appreciate your protection, then that may be reason for you to move forward with talking to Ozzy or Beverly, that is in the department for notaries, so things can be enforced the correct way. But again, if you're doing things honest, then you don't have nothing to worry about. When it comes to them asking questions, you should be able to show them your records to show that you have been using your integrity and doing things by the book. That is most important. Okay.
Mhm. However,
And then we can't
Belinda,
go.
this guy is just calling around like he's a client. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
So
they
he's
don't
trying to
know
bait
where
you.
he doesn't know where you would be coming from when you do state the mileage fee, right?
Okay.
Um, that should be communicated, I guess, during the call. But why? I mean, I feel like it's malicious to just call around notaries and see what they're going to say is their travel fee, or you know what I'm saying, how much they're going to
Mhm.
charge. So I'm just saying, be careful, even or be upfront. I'm coming from, like I had someone wanting me to go to Chapel Hill. Okay, that's 30 something miles for me each
Mhm.
way, and I think the mileage was like 50 something dollars, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's too much, but that's what it is. That's what I can charge. But
Right.
during that time, if the person didn't know I was coming from Nightdale to travel to Chapel Hill, right?
Right.
and I give the dollar amount, you shouldn't just assume that I'm being dishonest, right?
Right.
And report me. And you're a notary at that. So that part is it's just not, it's not right. I don't know what the intent is. But anyway, I guess again, the word communicate up front where you're coming from, and that's why you're charging by law that travel fee.
And again, we can't control what other people do. I mean, that's just again life, and it's unfortunate that you do have others that may be looking for someone else's downfall. You have a lot of evil in this world as much as we have good, right? So the goal is just to make sure you're doing your part to always CYA, cover your assets at all times, just by actually making sure that you're doing everything by the book. And if there's ever a question because someone says, "Hey, we have had a complaint," we need to know exactly this, or whatever it might be. Just make sure that you can actually boldly and proudly say, well, this is what I charge. This is where I was at. This conversation happened. And based on where I was at the time, that's how much the fee would have been. And then they would be saying, oh, okay, based on the calculations, we understand. And that's hopefully all that it is. So they can move on. But again, hopefully the gentleman will actually start seeing things in a way that he is causing more harm than good, if he is seeming to do things underhandedly. I mean, there are some notaries that's definitely low and very, very grimy when it comes to their tactics that needs to be removed. All right. But again, they will eventually get caught because they are dealt with the right person, the right time, and they will be reported. But again, just do things honestly, and you should protect yourself as long as you're recording exactly what you need to document, to go back, to refer back to whenever a question comes. Camille, you had a question or a comment?
Thank you, Belinda. Good evening, everyone. My question was similar. Someone had talked about courier fees earlier. They were doing some general notary work signing, and they mentioned courier, that they were charging courier fees because the people that she notarized their documents for needed her to send the documents out. So would it be like a mileage fee plus cost of a label if she wasn't provided one?
So this is the thing. If the notarial fee was actually received for notarizing a document, that's everything dealing with the legislation under notaries, right? Anything after you notarize a document, they're asking you to take this document for them because maybe they don't have a vehicle to get it to wherever it needs to be. Then this is outside of your notarial act. And this is something that you can now independently charge a fee that you can mutually agree upon. What you have to do though, you need to have good record keeping. Specify this is what I charge for my notarial services. This is what I charge for the travel fee to get to them. All right. And then when it comes to anything additional, like the couriering, or if you printed documents for someone, that is an additional fee you can charge because it's not you actually notarizing. It's not anything dealing with you as a notary. It's you actually doing stuff in a way that you're actually doing additional services that they're asking for. So you have to make sure these things are specifically shown exactly what you're charging and why, if it's something beyond the notarial service itself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Very
Okay.
much. Very much.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So guys, we're at 7:30. If there's any last comments or questions, this is the best time to do so. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the new year on January the 6th. As I am excited to see what 2026 will have for us. Linda, you have a question or comment?
I just have a question. When are you
Mhm.
doing apostles again?
That'll be in March.
Okay. Yes.
So if you want to actually see the training, everything's on the website. So NCNotary training.education. You'll be able to see the entire training schedule for 2026.
Okay. Enjoy your vacation.
I plan to, guys. So happy holidays to you all. Be safe. And again, just be in a position where you can actually just enjoy what 2025 got you through, good, bad, and ugly. We have to appreciate all things and just know that next year, this time, you should be in a growth. Okay. You should see yourself elevated from where you are. And it's all about what you decide to do because we are in control of us, right? So we got to make sure that we stand on that and be very um, specific and strategic on how we move. All right. So the word is yours. So I'll see you guys in the new year.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.